Bon dia, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Boker Tov, that's in Hebrew. I want to cover everybody. Ohayou gozaimasu. And bonjour. How's everyone doing today? You know, I think I coined this famous expression with the Shomrim, and it's, I'm back.
Yes.
You want 5 minutes with Israel?
Yes. I give you 10.
I give you 10.
It's going to be 1 hour, Elaine. I know, I could tell.
You never know with me, but I'm going to try and keep it so he has time. You guys want to know about Israel. Why do you want to know about Israel? Well, as a Christian, we can easily answer that because most of the Bible events took place in Israel. Jesus was born there, he died there, he resurrected there, the prophets, all the stories of the Bible, most of them originate in Israel, that's right. So we want to study more about what the Word of God says. And God said, can we have the first slide, please? God said in Ezekiel 5:5, he said, this is what the sovereign Lord says, this is Jerusalem, which I have set in the center of nations, with countries all around her. Notice that God is saying, I have made Jerusalem the center of the world. Now, has anybody read this before? I'm sure you have. Have you thought about it much, or you just thought maybe it's like a nice poem or something? God doesn't put his words in the Bible just casually. He has a deep meaning for everything. So I don't have all the answers why God put that there, but I have a few things I can point out to you. First, let's figure out where Israel is on the world map. This is, actually this was made in, do I have the right page here? Okay, let me turn over. I can't remember his name. A German pastor, he was a pastor and a theologian, and in 1581 he drew this. Now he was a cartographer, which means he was a map maker. Now he's not actually making a map here, but being a theologian, he wanted to point out something to the world. That Jerusalem, which is the center right here, is the center of the world. And you see here Africa, Europe, and Asia. Did you know Jerusalem was at the center of those 3 continents? God said I had put Israel, Jerusalem, in the center of the world. See, God wants to be a center of everything, right? But God had a purpose. Why did he put Israel, Jerusalem, where it is right now? Why didn't he pick, like, Brazil? You know, he could have picked, really, he could have picked any country, but let's see where Jerusalem is strategically located on the world map. Does anybody know where Israel is over there? Can anybody actually come up here and point to me where Israel is?
Okay, anybody?
Come on, anybody?
Anybody?
Good, let's try.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Laura's going to try. Okay, Laura, go ahead.
It's so tiny, that won't even fit. But see if you can find it.
Down.
Ooh, don't tell. No, you. Oh, you okay?
No,
You're not quite. Next.
I think so. No.
No.
Oh no, you're way off.
No.
Can you show me where Brazil is?
Brazil?
Okay. Good. That's a start.
Africa?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought this was Europe.
That is Spain.
Next.
This?
Portugal. Okay, next.
Country.
There you go. One more.
Tranquila.
This is the last chance.
I don't know about this.
Last chance.
We're going to have to put you back to class 1.
Yes.
All
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, let's not show off now.
Good job.
Good job. All right. Israel, it was right here. And he had it right. The Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, Portugal, you can see Italy, you see Africa, Europe, and Asia. Now, do you see where Israel is located? Does that look like kind of the middle? Now, you may say, well, the world is a globe. How can anything be the middle? Any place you turn the globe, you put your finger, could be the middle, right? But God said it, so He means it. It is the center of the world in the spiritual sense, in the physical sense. It joins 3 continents.
Right.
Okay? Let's go to the next one. Now we're going to get a little closer here. You got Africa, Europe, Spain, France, Italy, Greece is in here. Israel is right there. You can see it in a dark color. Okay, you see how it connects now. Most of these areas are desert areas. This is Egypt. And Israel was really a crossroad. It was a trading route to get to all these continents. And they went through Israel because this is not desert as much as all these other places. You can't travel through the Arabian desert to get to Turkey or, you know, I mean, you're talking all desert area in here. So God strategically put it in a place where people can travel through and get all over. But there's more to it than that. Israel is a very small nation. It's only part of the size it is today. It's only part of what God really gave to all the tribes. I put Argentina because you can all relate to Argentina. Do you think that's a lake in there? No.
Is this the size of Israel?
That's Israel. This is New Jersey, one of the smallest states in the United States. Connecticut's pretty small too. That's Israel. Israel is basically about 250 miles from north to south. At its widest point, it's 70 miles, but in some places it's only 9 miles because the Palestinians are claiming all this land, which God said you are never to give up, okay? So at one point it's only 9 miles wide. So Israel, God chose the smallest to be the middle of the earth. Next. This is a little fuzzy, but again we see Egypt. This is where the pyramids were. This is the part of the Fertile Crescent. You can see this is a real satellite map. You can see the green area here, green areas, but this is all desert. So if anybody wanted to travel from a big place like Egypt, and they had a spice route too, which came in from India. The purple is the spice route. They would go this way. You can see some greenery in here. This is the Red Sea. This is the Sinai Peninsula, and in here you'll see Israel. This blue is called the Via Maris. That's Latin. It means the way of the sea. This was a good way to travel. It came right from Egypt, followed the coastline, which is nice and cool. There are mountains all along here, and it's green. It separated right here, the Via Maris separated here, which is Megiddo. Megiddo is where the Valley of Armageddon is, where the last battle is going to take place. And because the spice route, the Via Maris, and all these people are traveling through here, this was a place where it's like if someone can really occupy this area, they can charge tolls, heavy tolls, all these people going through. So there was a great stronghold there of protection. And it says, he who controls Megiddo controls the world. And you can see that because it's linking 3 continents. So a lot of battles were fought in Megiddo, more than any other place probably in the world. And now you can know why, and the last battle is going to take place right here in Megiddo. The Via Maris splits here and it goes to Damascus, which in those days was a big area too, and it leads up to all these areas, Mesopotamia, Russia's up here, and Europe. Europe, Africa, and Asia, they all connect. And everybody has to go through there. So you're saying, well, did God just put Israel in the middle of the world just for the trade routes? Or was there more behind it? Not yet. Is there more behind it? Now, just think, everybody's got to go through Israel. All these people, back and forth, all around. Guess what? That's where the gospel started. Everybody going through gets to hear the gospel, right? Going and coming. It's very strategically located. And when you think it connects all the continents, and you say, well, how did it get to America from here? But if you go way up to Siberia, which nobody travels too much, but Alaska connects with Russia by only 50 miles of water. At one point, that might have even been connected by land, and they claim it was. So really, you can travel all these continents, go through, you know, America, Canada, all over the place, really. Now, you could say, well, you can always go, you know, through the water, but long distances, and it's very perilous to go by ship, much easier and safer to go by land. So, anyhow, next verse, Jerusalem, the city where I have put my name. How many of you have read that? You've read it many times because it's in Kings and Chronicles, it's throughout the Bible dozens of times. God said, I have put my name in Jerusalem. Now, I know we've covered this before, but I'll go over it again. When God says he put his name in Jerusalem, he did. He physically put his name in Jerusalem. Let's go to the next one. The Hebrew alphabet. The first letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Alpha, and the next one is Bet. That's where we get the word alphabet.
Oh.
In case you didn't know.
Upper right.
I know. Aleph and Bet. Alpha, Bet. So they go from right to left. Yes, when you read a Hebrew book, it starts in the back and you go from right to left. This letter Shin, we've talked about this before.
It's not music?
Huh? Shin?
It's not music? It's like music.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
The instruments.
Because he's a musician.
Okay. When you see this character by itself, it stands for God's name. Actually, for the Jewish people, it's God's unmentionable name because it's so holy that they feel people aren't holy enough to even say God's name. So they always say the name, but this stands for God's name, Shaddai. When you see that, you know it's God's name. Next.
The three
Shaddai?
things.
Yeah, it looks like a W. Okay, let's go to the next one.
You want to tell them that you're going to teach them some Hebrew?
Let's go to the next one first. What else I get? In Jerusalem. This is where the temple stood. Right now you got the dome of the Muslim dome there. In Jerusalem there are three valleys, the Kidron, the Gehenna, and the Tyropian. When they connect, what does it do? Do you see that? Next. You see that? God imprinted his name in Jerusalem with the three valleys right around where the temple, where God's presence stood. Isn't that amazing? God said he put his name in Jerusalem, and he really did. So when God looks down from heaven to Jerusalem, he sees his seal. You know, in the time of kings, when a king wanted to show something was his property, or he wrote a letter and he wanted to prove it was from him, he used a wax seal. He had a ring with an imprint in it, and they poured wax on the letter, all sealed, so no one could open it. They would pour it, and when the wax is still hot, he would take his ring and imprint it right in the wax, and that says, the king, this is from the king. God took his ring and made his seal right there in Jerusalem. This is the final one. I just wanted to show more on a global scale. Again, we're talking Israel, little bitty Israel right here. God said it's the center of the world. Amen.
Amen. Praise God. Wow.
So what we're going to do now is we have something special for those that were baptized. All 6 of you, if we could line you up right here. And we're going to need our photographer, huh? I promised you all you would get your certificate. And I had you all smile real nice. And I opened one up. This is Sylvia's. So I could put your picture in there. So you each have your certificate. with your name inside.
Okay. Wanna start with that?
And make sure to take a picture. Sister Lenny, Pastor Fumo together today, please.
No, one by one. Sylvia, come on over here.
There's no room here, why don't you go?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crowded.
Let's, well, we gotta take a picture, so you, why don't you come on over here? Okay?
So let's see.
Come on, guys, all,
Yeah,
guys, all
No,
come.
no, one by one.
One by one, huh?
One by one, we'll take a picture
Oh,
one by
okay,
one.
so
One by one,
you
okay.
need to come just a little bit more because the sun is behind.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Sylvia, look up here so we can take a picture. Here we go. Okay.
Now, if we're gonna do it this way, just wait a minute. I didn't know he was gonna do it this way. Then I have one more thing to give you. And let's all stay in the line. Girls, we all had fun making these, didn't we?
Wow.
I put them as a sentimental. I put it together so you can remember in the future when you girls get married and have kids, maybe they can even use this robe when they get baptized. In the back, I have your music sheet and your profession of faith laminated.
Yes.
Now, there's going to come a day, we all know this, we're all going to be in heaven together. Whether we go one at a time or we all get raptured. Now, if we go one at a time, eventually someone will be the last one and we'll all be waiting for you, right? So when you get there, we're all going to gather, and guess what? Guess what we're going to do? You too. We're going to sing "We're Together Again." Yeah, just think of that. And you know, I wonder if some angel's going to come and say, "Here's your robe."
That's right.
Wow.
So I'm not an
So,
angel, but I'm.
Let's take this one, take the picture again, okay? One more time. Okay. One by one.
I have just something to tell. Have some letters in your shorts from the computer?
Oh, yeah, because of that,
So-
yeah, that's a bad spot.
Yeah.
Let's do
so-
it over here, over here.
Let's do it. Let's
Okay.
move forward. Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Good.
That's good.
You can, okay. Little bit more, Sister. It's in your arms. Thank you. Here you go.
All right, thank you. So the next one, Lara.
Yay!
All right, Lara, congratulations. There's your robe. Okay.
Sorry, the letters are
Okay.
it's still
Oh
in your
yeah, I
arms.
see what you mean. Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
All right.
Congratulations!
Wow.
Okay.
But don't go away yet. We have one more surprise.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, and I'm sorry she didn't do the confession of faith. I forgot.
Yeah, we'll
I
back
feel
it.
so bad. We'll get you in there next time.
Okay.
Okay, congratulations. Next one, Gabriela. All right. Okay. All right. Rodrigo. Oh, wait a minute. No,
We'll
let's
get
do
you
this
two together.
together. Okay, so there is
Oh.
Lily and Rodrigo.
Come closer. I can't sit down yet. Here.
Oh,
We have something
you have to stay
sentimental
away.
for
Stay
you.
away.
You can open this
Stay away
later,
from the thing.
probably at the table. How's that?
So let's get a
No, that's
picture.
a bad spot because
Yeah, let's
there's a
move, let's
light.
move. Everybody push it. There we go.
Okay. It's still on you, Elaine.
That's still on me. Okay, how's that?
Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and here you go.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
now.
Wales.
Okay,
We're not
present.
done yet. We want the 4 girls up again because we want to give you a gift. Oh.
Elaine,
Wow.
the kids steal all the things
I
in the
know.
water.
Let's see.
Oh.
Girls, going to show it to you on screen, okay? All right.
One picture, please.
Oh, one picture, please.
Yes, with a
Okay, let me get it back.
Don't open it yet.
Let Sister Elaine go behind. Don't open it.
How's
Yeah.
that? Squeeze it, okay. Can you
Okay,
get-
now, all right, Sylvia. I'm taking a picture, my dear.
Yeah, she's putting her thing down.
If you take it, it is a little
Little bit more, a little bit
more
more.
fall that way, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take it two, okay? So one, and another one and two. Here you go.
Okay, so now that we're gonna show that.
Just a minute. Maybe you could sit down, you can see better. This is what you're getting. Okay, this is Hebrew,
Wow.
and it's the Shema. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu. And already you've learned how to read the first word in this jewelry. Now, Hebrew goes from right to left. See this? The shin? Shema. Got it? You have any questions?
Can we open them?
Yeah, you can open it now.
Amen!
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom, forever and ever. Amen, amen. Praise God.